There's only 4 games on the MLB slate today, but which 2 games should you be betting? You're about to find that out. You're also going to talk a little K props, and we're also going to give you some postseason future advice here, only on First Pitch. And I don't know what I did to the guys. They didn't want 3 guys with me. Instead, I got Drew Martin and Matt Josephs. I'm going to blame it on the short card. I'm not going to blame it on myself as much as it may hurt, Matt. But I knew I could trust you to be here with me, brother. Even if you don't have anything you love, but you're going to do something a little bit different here. Matt Josephs, sportsmemo.com. Check him out there. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. But for your big game breakdown, you just kind of wanted to give us an overview on K props for today on this short card. So anything that at least stood out to you, while you might not have a best bet for the folks, what are you thinking as you look down the card?
Yeah, I mean, obviously today included one of these is a rematch, which I'll get to in just a second. I don't usually like playing rematches, especially when they're back to back. So we'll touch on each of the games briefly. The Tigers and the Yankees. Look, you may not realize it, but the Tigers are one of the more profitable under K prop teams in Major League Baseball. Problem is they're averaging almost 5.2 strikeouts per game. Clark Schmidt has the potential to go over this, but I would not be surprised if he also goes under because the Tigers actually have gone under quite a bit against right-handed starting pitchers, even though averaging over 5 strikeouts per game. We mentioned there is a rematch of sorts in terms of the Nats and the Marlins playing once again, just switching venues. And I don't really play rematches very much because unless it's Coors Field or unless there's a pitcher that has violent home and road splits, it's pretty much just saying, well, did the batters learn anything from the last matchup? The one thing the odds makers learned was Braxton Garrett's K prop was 5.5 the first time around last week. Now it's down to 4.5. Still may not be enough because the Nats are one of the best at making contact in baseball. And Adon's numbers, they're just so high juice wise that really it's not worth looking at. Pedro Vila is interesting for the Padres today. He's a guy who's been striking out some batters, and the Giants can certainly do so. The problem is the juice is ridiculous. The over is like minus 160 in some places. So for me, that's a stay away. And then you've got the Dodgers and the Braves, two teams that are inconsistent when it comes to strikeouts. There's no real leans. You are getting one of your lowest numbers for Spencer Strider. You don't often get a 7.5 for him. So if you do think that's an over here, you're getting a better price than usual when it's 8.5 and 9.5 against most of the teams in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, and you mentioned that Miami and Washington series that's coming up here and just played 4 days ago. That's actually what we're going to be getting from Drew Martin here. So I'm wondering, Drew, I know it's not a best bet for you, but big game breakdown. I knew you would find a way to work the fish in here. So what do you think game 1 of this rematch series is going to look like?
Get the Miami Marlins traveling to our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And it's Garrett versus Doan going for the Nationals. And this is actually a rematch of last week's game where both pitchers performed very well. Now we're seeing the Marlins about minus 150 price tag favorites here in the overnight market, total of 9. I think that total's too high, guys. It's a primetime game, 7 p.m. Eastern here. And Adon last time out facing the Fish, he went 6 innings and only gave up 3 hits, didn't walk anybody, 0 earned runs. So there was only 3 base runners through the full 6 innings against this Marlins lineup. And Garrett on the other side, he had a really good game going up against the Nationals offense. So I think that bodes well into this matchup. Plus the fact Garrett, he has been really consistent. The southpaw for the Marlins has gone 5 plus innings in 6 straight games, letting up 3 earned runs or less in all of them. That's a model for consistency here. And he's got 135 strikeouts and just 21 walks on the season. So you love that strikeout to walk ratio as well. Look, the Marlins lineup, if you've been following them, has been ice cold, as has the Nationals. At times, they've been able to put up some crooked numbers, but overall, not one of the better offenses in MLB. Therefore, the total of 9 here, Marlins and Nationals. I like it to the under on Thursday night.
That's Drew Martin. Check him out, WagerTalk.com. And do you agree or disagree about the rematch series? Hop in the comments below and let us know how you're going to be betting game 1. And let's swing it on back up to Matt Josephs. Not a typical best bet you have here for the folks, but I was mentioning yesterday about how, okay, you can give somebody a play and then it cashes and they're all happy. I think the more valuable info that we can give out on shows is really handicapping advice, ways that you go about profitizing your portfolio, playing future markets. And that's what you have for us because You're saying if you want to make the most money betting MLB futures, the time is nigh. Don't sit on your hands and wait. So, how are you going to attack as the playoffs are right around the corner?
Yeah, with about a month left in the season, you kind of want to take a look at schedules down the stretch. Look, there's going to be some teams that have benefited from their recent schedules. I mean, the Phillies obviously have been at home for most of the month of August, and obviously the odds for them have changed greatly. And now, it's a
Mhm.
little bit of a tougher September for them. There's a bunch of games against the Braves. There's some games against the Mets, and I know the Mets aren't good, but they're going to want to play spoiler. So it's really important to kind of look at this last month of the schedule for your team. And it's important to look at your own portfolio when it comes to this. I'm not a hedger, but if you made a bet early on in the season and you don't like where it's heading, hedge off of it and kind of lay off a little bit of it. We're kind of going to start to notice the Phillies, I think, are going to be one of those wild card teams, but there's
Mhm.
probably some value in trying to figure out who number 2 and number 3 is. Also, make sure, depending upon your book, that there's different kind of ways that you can bet it. There's some books that'll say, all right, who are the wild card teams? Who are going to win the division? The Braves are going to win the division, but maybe somebody else in a different division could come from behind and take over. So now's kind of the time as we approach September 1st to reevaluate your futures here. And look, I would love to give you a play for today's show. I'm 7-0 the last 2 days, 18-4 in my last 22 in Major League Baseball, but I just don't see anything, so I'm not going to force it. So today I'm going to spend my time looking over all my futures and try and reevaluate things and see if I can take a look at something that might have some value going forward because we do have only a month left of the season.
Yeah, and that's a key there as well. Is when you're on a 7-0 run, it doesn't mean you just have to machine gun spray the board and try and screw up the run that you're on. Be selective, and especially with a 4-game slate, there's no need that you have to bet every single game. One of the best tools as bettors is they got to put up odds on all these games. We don't have to bet every single one. So nothing in the best bet category, but some great information there from a man, Matt Josephs. You can also check him out on Prop It Up right here on Wager Talk TV. Him alongside Andrew McGinnis and Andy Lang getting you ready to go in the NFL prop market across all different sports props. It's a good reason to hit that subscribe button and never miss any of our shows here. All right, Drew Martin does have a best bet for him or best bet for us, excuse me. And this one's going with the Bronx Bombers. They've been continuing to flex a little bit. What do we think, Drew? This continues here in Detroit. How are you betting?
Hey guys, short Thursday card here on the diamond. You're getting my premium plays here just by watching the show. Oh, so thanks for joining us here. First pitch. I actually got a 5%, a max limit play in college football going tonight. So check that out on my page, wagertalk.com. Drew Martin, 21-11, 65% run to end last college football season. The first 5% week 0, we smashed it. So looking to do it again tonight. Going Thursday night, week 1 college football kickoff. But for best bet here, on the diamond. It's going early, 1 o'clock Eastern time. We get the Yankees and the Detroit Tigers, Schmidt versus Manning. I did list Schmidt as the starting pitcher here, and the Yankees in the overnight market's going minus 120 price tag favorites. Really, Schmidt, when you look at his last 12 innings pitched, 12 plus innings actually, just 3 earned runs given up and a 13-2 strikeout to walk ratio. He was going up against the Boston Red Sox lineup and the Tampa Bay Rays lineup, 2 stronger lineups than he's going to be facing against the Tigers here. I mean, the Tigers have not scored more than 4 runs in a week straight in any of their games. They've scored 3 runs total in their 2 games coming in to this overnight matchup against the Yankees. Granted, this is we're recording Wednesday night here for Thursday, 1 o'clock Eastern start. So overall, I think the Yankees minus 120 price tag, they're playing better baseball of late. And we talked about this Detroit Tigers lineup being ice cold bats. So I think the Yankees, 20-cent favorite. It's not enough. Give me the Yankees as my best bet.
And that is going to do it, folks. Maybe the shortest episode of First Pitch ever. But big thanks to Matt Josephs getting up with me in the morning. Big thanks to Drew Martin as well. Make sure if you appreciate the show, hop below in the comments and let us know. And while you're down there, hit that like button and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it, and it helps us continue bringing these shows right to you. And we mentioned earlier too, with Matt diving into these K props, don't forget that he has college football right around the corner. Week 0 already kicked off, so now we're in actual week 1. You can get his advice betting the NFL prop market on Prop It Up, and the way to do that make sure you're subscribed. More reason than ever to click that little bell, and we'll see you live again on Friday right here on First Pitch.